So today we're going to be taking a texture file from the assignment in Canvas, and you're going to be putting that over a picture that you have taken, and you're going to be kind of melding those together to make this look like a really old photo. So first thing you need to do is go ahead, right click and save image as. And we're going to put that onto your desktop into the Photoshop tutorials or Photoshop lessons folder that you have. That's where all this stuff should be going. And this file is a JPEG and it's called TinType screen. So I'm going to hit save right there. And then I need to find a picture. So you've been taking some pictures. They're on your Google Drive. You can use any of those that you have. I'm going to go into my pictures folder and I'm going to save this picture. I'm going to start with this picture of my son. Okay, so I did not go to new file. I want to be clear about that. I want to just open up the file and it'll automatically be the dimensions that I want. To make the photo fit on the screen, I'm going to use, you can either go to View, or you can use the shortcut and do Control 0. So hold the Control button and fit 0 to make it fill up the screen. I'm going to go up here to my workspaces, make sure I'm on photography, and do Reset Photography. Okay, so should have the same buttons. You should have the same buttons that I am seeing right now. I need the histogram, adjustments, and layers panel. So adjustments is right here. If you don't see histogram, let's turn it back on. Histogram looks like this. It's the color one up here, and the layers are down here. So those are the three that we need to make sure we have: histogram, adjustments, and layers. We're gonna click first to make a new black and white adjustment layer. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna make a black and white adjustment layer here. Okay, so notice that I've got my photo right here. That's the bottom layer. On top of that, so I can turn the black and white off at any time because the only thing that's making it black and white is this layer right here. So that should also bring up this panel, which is the properties, okay? And I can go through my presets. If I want to go through my presets, I'm going to adjust. I need to turn my item on back here. I can adjust the way it looks based on the colors. And yes, you are adjusting the colors even though it's black and white. So I'm going to adjust that a little bit to make it look the way I want. I like making a shirt a little brighter so that kind of pops off the screen. I'm just going to fiddle around with that a little bit and see what I can do to make it kind of some contrast, have some lighter in the foreground and some darker in the background. I love this picture of Ro. If you don't know about Diwali, that's the Indian New Year because they're on the lunar calendar. So they have a different time of year that they celebrate New Year, in addition to the regular old New Year's Eve. Okay. Now we're going to bring in that TinType file. So the easiest way to do that, I've got File Explorer pinned on my desktop like you should. In my Photoshop's tutorial folder, I'm going to go ahead and drag this in. And now it's not the right size. There's several things that are wrong with that. So you can tell that the whole thing is not the same orientation or size. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it like that. And if I hold down the Shift key, when I rotate, it's going to kind of be kind of blocky because it's only going to do, you can see now it's at 90 degrees, 75, 50, 60. If I freehand it, it can go any direction I want, but I want it to be 90 degrees so it's nice and even. And I'm gonna, if I drag it like this, it's not going to be the same, it's not gonna keep the right proportions, or it'll keep the same proportions. What happens if I hold Shift again, now I can make it any old size I want. So I'm gonna, because I don't care about pixelation for this particular thing because I'm only using this as a filter, I hold Shift and I'm gonna use that to stretch it out so it fills up the whole screen. Now that I'm done with that, I can hit the check mark. There you go. And that doesn't look very good right now. What I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna change the blend mode. So what I need to do is make sure I go to TinType screen, I make sure I'm not on one of these other things, and right here is my blend modes. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. And you can just kind of go over them and you'll see how they all change. If I do overlay, you see that works pretty well. You could also do soft light. I want you to experiment and find what you think. I don't want it to be too strong, so oh, that's pin light, that doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna do overlay, and then I'm also going to adjust the opacity. And so opacity has to do with transparency. If something has 0% opacity, it's completely transparent. If something has 50% transparency, it's kind of halfway transparent. And if it has 100%, it is gonna be completely transparent. Again, using the overlay mode, so it's not gonna be totally seen. I'm gonna do it about halfway, so it's a little subtle, maybe a little more than that. I want it to be visible, but not like overpowering the whole thing. So you can see how that's changing again by hitting that little eyeball a little off and on there. So that's really all that we're doing today. So there's a lot of different textures that you can use if you want to make your photos look different. I am going to go ahead and now export. I export by going to quick export as PNG, and I'm going to put this in TinType, finished, and I'll save that as a PNG, and then I'll be ready to turn that into Canvas.